Hi, hello, welcome to Devon Monk's Works and Worlds. We are on Monday, Monk. I didn't look. 61, 62, somewhere in the low 60s. Welcome here. I'm really excited to have you here today. If it is Monday, I hope you are having a wonderful Monday. If you've caught me some other time of the week, I hope your week's going good so far. So I am going to cover what I usually cover, which is how is writing going, how is knitting going, and how are things in general in Monkland. So the first thing I'm going to do is try not to make too much noise while I move this one thing on the setup below me. And there, okay. Did that. So how is writing going? Writing's going well, thank you. I am done with the back cover copy of the books that I need to get done right now. That was five books, five back cover copies that needed to be written or rewritten. The first book that I will be releasing will be in a couple weeks. It's coming right up, and I'm not going to give the specific day because I don't have a link to it yet, and I want to tell you the day and have a link below for you to click on, but I don't have that link yet. So it will probably be, if not next week, the week after, that this book will be coming out. It is Oak and Ink. That is a tie-in to the Wayward Souls Route 66 Urban Fantasies. This was only out for 6 months and in an exclusive anthology called Dirty Deeds 2. In that anthology were stories also by R.J. Blaine, Faith Hunter, Diana Farrell Francis, and Jennifer Estep, some fabulous, fabulous urban fantasy writers. And this short novel was in there too. And that was only out for 6 months. And then that came down. You can't get it unless maybe there's a random print copy wandering around out there somewhere. But this will be now, my story, Oak and Ink, will be released for the first time by me and will be available in digital format and also in print format. And I'm very excited to share it with you, especially if you missed it in that anthology because it was only out for a short amount of time. I'm excited for you to see this nice, fun, interesting spin-off story from the Wayward Souls books. This is about Ricky, who is a crossroads. She looks after the wayward magics that wander up alongside Route 66, and she's got a history with an ex who's a wizard and a half-dryad, and somebody got the gods mad, and the gods are after them. So it's good fun, good urban fantasy fun. So I will tell you when it's actually coming out in the next Monday Monk. I promise. And I'll have a link for you. So writing is going well. Thank you. Next is how is knitting going? Knitting's going good too. I promised that I would share the knit toy that I was making for a family member. But first, I need to make a small announcement here. Actually, a big announcement. I am officially a grandmother. I'm so excited. This is such a great new adventure. Baby is doing great. Mommy and daddy are doing great. And that is who I knit the toy for. I was saying it was a family member, and yeah, new family member. So since I knit it, I have given it to said baby. So what I can show you instead is photos of it. I think I'll probably post like one or two photos of it so you can see what it looks like. I will put a link to the patterns that I used. I think I used 4 patterns to put that toy together. It's 4 different patterns blended together. But that little ram will have links to the knit patterns down below, and that is the most recent thing that I've knitted. The thing that I knit before that was this little TV, this little old-fashioned TV, which was given away in my March newsletter, but I have not had the winner contact me yet, which means maybe it'll be available. You might be able to win it if you sign up for my newsletter, because if it doesn't get claimed, it'll be given to another random number name that gets chosen. So sign up for my newsletter. There's a link for that down below too. And yeah, so that's writing, that's knitting. I am already planning the next knit item that I'll be giving away in April, and I was going to do something kind of like, normal, and then I decided no. And it's not going to be totally normal. I'm going to adjust the pattern a little bit and make it sort of fun. So I'll be starting that here this week probably. So yeah, knitting's going well. And let's see what else. Oh, then I just talk about what's going on in Monkland, right? I know how to do this. Well, new baby, very exciting. That's one thing going on in Monkland. Also, I mean, I got to talk about the garden. I went out and cut back the roses. They're supposed to be trimmed in February, and our weather was so wonky, so cold and frosty and stuff that I wanted to wait until we had more warmer weather. And I guess we're there. It's supposed to get down to almost freezing again next week, so I'm not sure if we're really out of the woods yet on cold, but I went ahead and trimmed back the roses, so those are set and ready to go. And we were able to go out into the garden and pull the winterizing that we had done on it and put in a little new soil and weed anything that might have tried to start growing there that shouldn't be there, like grass. There's always grass trying to get into our garden. And those little white flowers that are called, like, I don't know if they're called pigweed or what they're called, but once they go to seed, you touch them and then poof, seeds explode out of them everywhere, and then you have millions the next year. Those guys are everywhere in my garden, and one of the reasons why we redid how our gardens were set up, because they were just near impossible to beat. So we're still fighting those, but so far I think we're winning. So at least they don't have thorns, like unlike the blackberry and the roses. But anyway, we got the garden set up, and it's supposed to rain like wild this next couple of days, and then maybe midweek or this weekend we might be able to start planting some actual vegetables. And we're planning on some lettuce and some spinach, which spinach we might plant a little later, I'm not sure. But some peas and what else are we going to do early? Maybe carrots, parsnips, turnips. Definitely, we got a good amount of carrots after that whole carrot saga of last year. But we got good root vegetables, so we're going to do some more root vegetables this year. And our rutabaga survived? No, not rutabaga. Hold on. What's that stuff that goes with strawberry pies? Oh, rhubarb. Our rhubarb survived. We put it in last year, and it made it through the winter. And so I guess we'll be getting rhubarb. And now I have to figure out what to do with rhubarb. If you have any rhubarb ideas, would you please pass them on to me? Because I'm not entirely fond of rhubarb, but I'm not against it either. I just don't think I've had a good rhubarb recipe that I can use it for something. So, hey, if you have a rhubarb idea that's been tested and you like it, post it for me down below, because I could make something that would convince me that rhubarb is the best thing ever, because as it is, it has sort of this squishy texture when I've had it, and I'm not sure if that's the way it's supposed to be made. So anyway, give me your rhubarb ideas, and I would love that. I would thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, the garden's coming along. Our weather is not warming up much. We are still definitely in the cold side of spring. Lots of rain coming in. We'll see what the week brings. We'll see what it brings. But otherwise, things are going pretty good. I guess I can just say that probably anything other than, gardening and keeping up with things around the house, like decluttering, I'm still doing that a little bit at a time, like literally one drawer at a time or half of a drawer at a time, or, find a box that has some odds and ends in it, and just, like a little box that you threw a bunch of stuff in, just like buttons and safety pins and bent paper clips and ticket stubs and stuff, those kinds of boxes. I've been cleaning those out and just getting rid of most of that stuff. And so that feels good, because every time I clean a little thing, it feels like I've made a little bit of room there. It's not dramatic change, but those little changes make me feel good too. Like this week, I had a bag full of hair ties and things. My hair has been a lot of different lengths. It used to be long before I discovered that I like this shorter style. But when it was long, I did everything with it, French braiding, and I would do all the rolls and all the fancies. And anyway, so I had left over like combs and clips and grabby things and pins and all those sorts of rubber bands and scrunchies and clip things and flowers and all this stuff that you use when you have long hair and you want to do something with it. I had kept quite a bit of that because I did let my hair grow out during 2020, during the, when COVID was really on the rise. I let my hair grow out, and then I was like, oh geez, I need all right, that's the thing with long hair, you have to do something with it, like a rubber band or a comb or something. So I was happy that I had them on hand, but before that I hadn't used them for just years and years and years. So I went through that bag and I did keep a couple, just a couple combs and a couple rubber bands, because maybe, I don't know, maybe there'll be some reason that I will need to pull my hair back away from my face with a comb. But mostly I got rid of all that stuff. So, and then that felt really great because then what I had left fit in a tiny little box and I stuck it in the drawer where it's supposed to be. And now, ta-da, I've decluttered something. So that's my declutter journey. Is coming along very, very slowly, but they feel like tiny wins, and that feels good because they're also just a tiny hill to tackle. It's not like I'm climbing a giant hill trying to get a bunch of stuff done. I'm just opening up one tiny little box. Like it could be the size of like an Altoid box, a mint box, or just like a matchbox. Look inside of there. Is there anything? Is it really a matchbox? Is it an empty matchbox? Toss it out. Now I feel good. I've decluttered something. So I'm making tiny progress on that, and I hope to make more progress. But even if I just keep up with the tiny progress, that adds up. It adds up over the years. I was watching a declutter, I don't remember who it was, but they said something like, if you spent 5 minutes every day, set a timer, and just open up one thing that you're like, okay, today I can look inside my silverware drawer maybe and see if there's any like old napkins or chopsticks or silverware that doesn't match anymore, plastic ones that you aren't using or that only have one tine left on it or something, and just clean that out. Then, just spend 5 minutes on it. Then if you do that the next day with some other little spot and you keep that up, you can get your house. Now, she was talking about your entire house pretty much decluttered in 2 years. And that's a long time. 2 years is a long time. I am not that patient. I want things done right away. I want to tackle the big stuff and really make a huge change in my house. But sometimes that isn't how life works. And really what I have time for is doing the hair scrunchies and seeing if those rubber bands on the hair scrunchies, if the elastic's worn out and it needs to be tossed, or if it could be donated, or if someone, there's a Buy Nothing marketplace on Facebook that you can check out. Look at Buy Nothing on Facebook and it'll ask you what neighborhood you live in. And if you have a group in your area, it's basically like a swap. Like people will post, I have this nightstand. Does anybody want a nightstand? And somebody's like, yes, I would like that nightstand. They're like, okay, come pick it up on my porch. And it's free. It's just free giveaway stuff that you would otherwise take to a thrift store or a donation center or throw away or have cluttering up your house. So, there are definitely places to donate. We have a wonderful organization here in my town called Helping Hands that allows people to come in and I think it's once a day take one bag of items, usually clothing, for free. And that runs off of donations. And that services people who have lost their homes, people who have moved and are looking to try to get up on their feet for like kitchen items, or people who have suffered from like fires or disasters. They can go in and get some supplies for free. And I encourage you to look in your area to see if there are any of those kinds of donation centers that help the people in your area. And if you can't find that, then other good places to donate, of course, are your local thrift stores. You can also donate, I don't have to list this off, this, but you can also donate through your churches or any of your community centers. Sometimes schools will take items that they need, clothing, sometimes for different kids or people. Sometimes I remember even when my children were in elementary school that there were families who had suffered, I think it was a fire, and they were looking for everything. They needed school coats again. They'd lost everything. And very quietly, the school gathered a lot of items for the family and donated it without ever saying, oh, this person gave you their old coat. Like it wasn't that. It was like, look, we have supplies, use what you can use of it. And it made a big difference. So that's the one good thing out of decluttering is you might make a big difference in somebody's life, or they might be able to get their hands on something that you are giving away and think it's just, junk, you don't need it anymore. It might be exactly the thing that they're looking for. And, if they can get it for inexpensive or for free, that's a pretty cool thing. So yeah, love your neighbor, give what you have if you don't need it anymore. And who needs clutter? We don't need clutter. We want to keep the things that we love around us, but all that other stuff that's just kind of filling up the spaces and not making us happy, totally good to send that on to somebody who it's going to make happy. And now I will stop with that rant because I didn't realize I was going to get on a decluttering rant, but you can tell it's been on my mind. So thank you for coming to Devon Monk's decluttering rant. Mostly decluttering is a good thing. I don't want anyone to walk away from this and think, wow, that sounds hard. It's, a tiny step at a time. Even just like this is one of my favorite tips is get a basket or a bag or whatever you have or your hand and run around the house and try to find 10 things that can get thrown away. I mean, it can be receipts that you have in your, stuck in your pockets or in your purse or in your coat pockets or something. Or it can be wrappers, gum wrappers or something, or Amazon packaging. Oh my goodness, people, envelopes like that. Where do you put them? You gotta, I don't know if those recycle, but gotta do something with them. So yeah, whatever steps you take, I hope that it is going well and that you continue to take them and that your house, even if it takes a couple years, becomes just exactly the space you want to be in because you are surrounded by all the things you love and not the things that are like, okay to have, but you don't really need them. Again, I'm going to link down below one more time to Cass from Clutterbug. I think she's really fun to watch and she's very funny and she has really good practical tips. She even has really good practical tips for people who are ADD or ADHD, where organizing might be difficult because of that. She's got some really great tips because she is extremely ADHD. She's just been diagnosed with it like recently, and she's in her, I think, 30s or something. So she's really fun to watch. Give her a try, and yeah, that's it. I will update you on the book Oak and Ink when that's coming out because it's coming out soon. And otherwise, the garden. We'll see if I can get that garden going. But until next time, my dear friends, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening to me ramble about what did I just ramble about? Gardens and knitting and writing and decluttering. That was the big subject. Thank you for spending a little time with me. I really appreciate it. And until next time, have a wonderful week. Bye for now.